Hi guys! So I finally finished a uh, few projects that I am doing for a swap. This swap is actually with Ashley, who is Chronicscrapper here on YouTube. Hi Ashley, if you're watching. Um, Hopefully you've gotten this package by now. And this was really hard for me because my mojo hasn't been working properly. And I think it's because my craft room is kind of in a stationary position right now, in that we've been adding on to this room and I had to move a lot of my stuff around so that my husband, who is building out a pantry attached to this room, could get in and out with all of his supplies. So I think the whole feeling of number one, I have a lot of stuff, but the room is kind of closing in on me and everything is kind of a mess. I find it hard to craft in that sort of situation. I think that was causing my mojo to say, "Oh, can't do it." So anyway, enough excuses, but I did create some projects for you, Ashley, and I hope you do like them. I went with the Shabby Chic, and I did make a banner, as we talked about, and I did include a stamped image where I could. Now, this is the first project I'm showing you. This is my banner, and it's consisting of 3 of those Vicky hearts, those puffy Vicky hearts that Vicky showed us how to make. And Vicky is TryHeart67 here on YouTube. Hi, Vicky. Um, she had showed us how to make the hearts, hand sewn hearts, and that's what I've done here. I've used some of the tulle ribbon that I found at the thrift store. These sheets come from a consignment shop. They're vintage Shabby sheets, and you guys have seen this pattern. I've shown it a couple of times. I've even shown a sneak peek of these on my Facebook page. I used a mint colored button here at the top, and these are not that heavily embellished for a reason. I spent most of my time on something else, and you can see it hanging over there. So I created two hearts that are the same size, and actually they coordinate. The back side is also decorated just like this big heart here, but I've reversed the way the hearts hang. So 2 of them, you can see the pink side, and then you can see this green side here, and that's the front of the banner. But what I've also done is tie them all together using the same materials I've used to make the hearts. So these sheets, which have just been torn in strips to use as the banner, there is a pin right here, so you can use that to hang it from on one end. And then I've twined in some of the, or twirled in some of the, what do you call this? I forgot what you call this now. This is a mint colored trim, and there's some pearl here, the pink pearl, and that's actually on some other project, and I'll show you that. And then it's all kind of woven together, and the hearts are actually going to stay in place on the string because I have used a little bow tie bling here that I got from Vicky, and so this comes from downtown LA, and they're not glued. It's an earring, so the backing of the earring is what holds the heart in place onto the banner. It won't slide around because I wanted them in a certain position. And then I tied some of the, strips of fabric together to make it look more shabby. Here's the center heart, and I put an A here for Ashley. And that is out of bling here. And this bling is just glued down with the Helmar's glue. And I have a little flourish at the end. So this heart is made exactly the same way. It's got the same hanger. So pretty much the same. It's just larger. The back side is just the reverse print. So it will hang like 2 pink ones and the mint one in the middle. And the last heart is the same as the first heart. So you can see this, and I'll have pictures inserted into the video so you can see what it actually looks like while it's hanging. And I use the 3M hooks to hang them on the wall. So you can do the same, Ashley. Just, get a pack at Walmart or something like that. If I remember, I'll include some in my package to you. So that's the first project I created for Ashley. and we didn't really talk about how many we were going to do. So hopefully this is enough for the swap. This next project is hanging right here off of my lamp. I have created a tutorial for how I created these hearts, and it's very hard to show it you know, flat, but I'll attempt to give you the idea. It's another hanging, and it's hanging on a toggle clasp here. This is meant to be like more of like a mobile, so you can hang this from the ceiling and it will hang down, or you can hang it on a hook on the wall. Either way you can choose to do it. Now I created these hearts, and I don't know, let me see if I can go in some without moving the camera. Okay, so this is one of the hearts that I created using the same fabric, and I have a tutorial that will play after this video, and if you guys are interested in how I made this, stick around to the end of the video and you will see the tutorial on how I did these. But this is nothing more than pipe cleaner and fabric, and then all the embellishments that are on it, and it's just tied to this again, this pom-pom, right? Pom-pom trim. And embellished further with art cakes and flowers and all kinds of stuff. Now, Ashley said she wanted to use a stamped image on her projects. Here is one of them. She's on the back side of the heart. Now, if you have this hanging from the ceiling, it will spin around if you have like a ceiling fan, because I've had it hanging from my lamp, my desk lamp here, and it sways in the wind, so it turns around nicely, and you'll see all the different sides. The way that it's created is that the actual hanging has like different things to look at as it turns around, so they're not all on one side. They're not all one-sided is what I want to say. It's very much something you see. If you see it spinning around, you see different views of it. So here is the gorgeous girl that I colored up. I don't know what they're named. You get the idea, and all I did was paper piece. Well, this actually isn't paper, it's fabric. The same fabric I used to create the heart. I ran the stamped image of the dress through the Xyron, then I stuck the fabric down, and then I fussy cut the dress out. So that's how I got the shape of the dress. And the reason you don't see the color of the stamp on here is because I used the Desert Sand Memento ink pad. So that's her, and then moving up, there's like flowers on here in the mint color. And I created another heart, and it hangs from a different strand. This first heart that I showed you has another art cake hanging at a certain level here. It says Queen Bee basically, and it's got a lot of bling. So I hope you like that, Ashley. Here's one side of the second heart. I used a mint green butterfly. I only had one of these, so I actually thought, oh, I don't want to use it yet, but no. I again put her initials here, an A, and then here is a little tulle flower that Carla made for me, and she had gifted to me during that scrapbook weekend that I went to at her house. And then there's a pink bow right here, and this bow actually came from Tutu Amy when I placed an order on her online shop, My Sophie Rose. And you know, she has a lot of the Tilda paper, so this color goes right with that. Now you'll notice that the hearts also have this pearl. This is the pearl that is on the hanging banner. So I tied them to, you know, I kind of tied the two together so that you would have a cohesive thing that you could use to decorate in your room. And then the other side of this heart looks like this. This is another flower that Carla had created for me. This is actually made from t-shirt material and tulle, polka dotted tulle. And so it's really pretty, and then she's got a bling in the middle that she put together. So I used it here because the color palette was very good with this shabby heart. And then right here, this is actually a vintage earring. I just cut off the shank of it, and it was mint green, so it went perfectly. I don't have a lot of this color. I didn't realize that. So hopefully you do like the color, Ashley. And then the last thing that's hanging on here is another art cake at the top, and it's actually a ballerina. Can you guys see that? It's hard to tell because it's see-through, so I don't know there. Maybe that's the best way to show it. And it goes well with the colors here. I do have it hanging. All this is tied to a toggle clasp here, or lobster clasp, I'm sorry. And let me just show you. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you very well, but here's kind of, you can see that, let's see. There we go. You can kind of see how it hangs together. It's got the two hearts face different directions when it's hanging, and I did that on purpose so that as you're looking at it, if it's turning around, you can see a lot of the different sides of things, and that's more interesting to me in that way. It's very shabby, so there you go, Ashley. There's your little image. The last thing I created for Ashley is a card to go with it all. This one has another gorgeous girl image on it. I'm going to bring the camera down. And okay, so I used the Michaels corrugated cardstock. And I used some golden fiber paste. That's the white stuff you're seeing here. It's actually still wet, so as it dries, it's going to look more like fibers. It's still a little wet here. And then the paper that I used on this card is first edition, and it's, I think I used the Floral Pavilion, but no, Bella Rose might be the one I used, Bella Rose. So I used a Spellbinders scalloped heart die to cut out the heart, and it's got little white polka dots on it. You can't see it very well. There we go. So there's the focus on that. You can see the little polka dots, but it's also got, behind the heart is some cheesecloth, and then I used another piece of paper from the first edition stack. Now again, she is paper pieced, but again, I used the fabric that I used on the hearts. This is some Perfect Pearls in the mint green, and there's a little bling in there in the middle. I used the thickers in the silver to kind of bring that bling out. And these are some sprays that I created. Vicky had gifted me some pink leaves and some blue leaves recently. And I turned those leaves into these beaded hearts. Now, I know a lot of people have been showing videos on how to make the beaded hearts, but I didn't want to string all those little seed beads onto some wire, so I cut it. I shortcut it, and I took those leaves, took the fabric off of those leaves, and formed it into a heart shape. And then I twisted this little pink organza fabric flower that has these little popcorn things on it. I twisted that together with the heart, so I created my own little spray. So that's what these hearts are created from. And then behind it, there's some pleated tulle from Hobby Lobby in this pink to just give it a little bit more texture, shabbiness, whatever you want to call it. I didn't do the sentiment on the inside yet. I've only put the piece of paper in there. And again, this is from the same paper stack. So that is my third item for Ashley. It's the card. So Ashley, hopefully you like everything that I've made for you. As I said, it was a big challenge for me to create all of these since my mojo was a little bit stuck. So guys, if you're interested in the tutorial on how I made these hearts, just stick around and the tutorial will be coming up. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Okay guys, so I know some of you are going to ask me how I made the heart. Okay, so I thought I'd go ahead and film this as I'm trying this out. And I don't know how it's going to look in the end. This is my first one that I'm making. But here's how I'm doing this. I have this pipe cleaner that I picked up at the dollar store some time ago. And when I picked this up, I had no idea what I was going to do with it. So I got some in this pink color. I have actually two pink colors and a blue and a cream color. And here I am sitting here watching videos, trying to clean up my craft room, and my mojo hasn't been with me for the last week or two. Yeah, it's been a while since I made anything that I felt like was, you know, going to help me out here, because I'm supposed to be doing this swap project. And so I'm just going to film this to see how it turns out. I've been reading everyone's comments for the 2000 subby giveaway that I'm having, and everybody wants a how-to. So how-to process video. This is just going to be a short one on how I do this heart. So all I did was took the heart, or took the pipe cleaner. I folded it in half to find the middle, like that. Okay, and so this becomes the bottom of my heart. And then all I do is take the top two ends, twist them together right at the ends, and I just did this by hand. You see my pliers, but I didn't really use my pliers for that. So you can see now it's just like this one big loop here, and then I just turned it in. And you can use your plier. Well, that came apart, so maybe I will want to twist it some more so that it actually shows up correctly for you guys. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry if you can hear the screwing. My husband is drilling, trying to finish my pantry there for the craft room. So you can see I can just form this heart here, and I had some strips of fabric sitting on my desk, and I was watching videos and I saw Crafty Arena. Hi Irene, if you're watching. I saw her conversation hearts pop up, and I thought, oh, I've got some pipe cleaner, let me try and play around with it. And I've had this fabric sitting on my desk for a swap project, and I thought, oh, I can add this to my swap project. These are fabric remnants, or not remnants. These are what I had left over from cutting out my banner pieces, and so I've just taken strips and ripped them out, and I've got strips. I don't know how wide these are. 1/4 of an inch. Yeah, 1/4 of an inch. I didn't measure. I just cut a little bit and then I ripped the rest of it all the way to the end. So I have these really long strips of fabric, and I cut them down to about different lengths. I don't measure. And all I'm doing is just tying them to this heart to see how they look. So hopefully my end result is a very shabby looking heart shape that I can add to my banner. And so for those of you who are wondering, this is how easy it was. And if you're wondering where I got this fabric from, this fabric actually was purchased at a bead store that has a little consignment shop in the back that she rents out space to. And they sell these bed sheets. These are actually bed sheets, I can tell. They're like that 1/4 bed sheet size pieces, and you get 3 for $5. So I bought a bunch of pieces. That's what I've used for my project. So this is how I've created the heart, and in case anybody was wondering, pretty easy, right? All right, thanks for watching. Okay guys, I'm back and I've finished tying all of the ripped fabric around the heart, except for this last piece here. You can see the tip of the what do you call these? Pipe cleaners. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use some of the Helmar fabric glue. Let me just unclog my tip here. And I'm going to glue down this last piece and tie it as well, so that it doesn't come off the end, because I tried tying it and just leaving it, but it's going to slide off the end if I don't glue it. So I'm just going to run some glue around the tip, and I doubt you can see that very well. And that'll secure it in place because it will dry with that on the end. On the inside, you won't even see it. So it is going to be hard for me to show you this. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to try my best. How do I want to do this? I'm actually going to wrap it a little bit so that it's got more coverage of the pipe cleaner. So am I even in? Yeah, so I've gone around in a circle, and I'm just going to pinch it a little bit, and then I'm going to tie it off on the back side. And what I've done is I've made sure that when I've been tying this, I've been tying it so that all of the ends hang towards the bottom, except for the inside of the heart, which is a little bit more difficult, and I didn't want them to hang to the inside, so I've tied them so that the knot goes to the back. And I know you probably guys can't tell that that's the case, but because there's so much fabric, but that's what I've done. And it looks like a big blob now, right? So what I'm going to do, you know, because this is an experiment, is I'm going to cut some of this fabric off so that I trim the hairs basically. So there's my heart with the finished. It's all the way around, so you can see it doesn't look much like a heart now. But I'm going to trim some of these fabric pieces here, especially in the middle of the heart. I think this is the back. Did I do it towards the back? I should have. Okay. I'm going to cut some of these off. And hopefully it'll turn out nice. So let me just do that. Cut some of these guys off. And there's really, I don't want to cut it too close because I still want that, you know, shabbiness of the heart. So I'm just basically going to give him a trim. And maybe if I zoom out a little bit, you can see this better. My desk is really messy. I kind of stopped what I was doing because I felt inspired to try this out. And I'm just going to cut about, I don't know how much I'm cutting off. I'm just cutting a bunch off so that I can see what it looks like with it trimmed. And I'm trying not to cut too much because once you cut it, there's no gluing it back. And I'm really liking this, how this looks. So yeah. You just kind of have to go with things sometime, you know? Just see how it ends up. Gotta take some chances, right? Right. You guys are like, how is she doing that? No. If it doesn't turn out, I don't use it on the project. And then I just start all over again. But my mojo's feeling like doing something, so. Happy to have you back, little mojo. It's not even that late, guys. I know I'm acting kind of weird, but it's the weekend. What are weekends for, right? But for acting silly. Can you guys even see what I'm doing? I'm not looking at the camera. I'm just cutting away because I want to pay more attention to my cutting than to my filming. It's starting to look better. And plus, I've also like kind of been messing around with the pipe cleaner a little bit. So it's probably not in the best shape that it could be in. But it'll get there, right? I'm hoping. One can be hopeful, right? Let's shave this guy off a little bit. Why not cut him? And I'm kind of cutting it in a heart shape, not a circular shape, in case anybody's wondering. Ooh, okay. It's looking kind of good. So I'm going to cut this little guy off too. I don't want these pieces in the middle because it makes it not look like a heart. So if I can shave the middle section, then I will. Because I want it to look as much like a heart as possible. Okay, so I'm going to kind of fiddle with this a little bit and see how it looks now before I cut any more off. This is the reason why I did not measure the lengths of each of the pieces that I was tying on, because I knew I'd probably end up cutting some. So measuring is really, there's no point in doing that. As long as you can tie the piece onto the pipe cleaner easily, then it's long enough. Plus, you want some leftover length to make it look real shabby, right? So what do you guys think? Does that look good? Does that not look good? I can see some really long pieces in here and some really short. I kind of wanted the pieces to be different lengths. Sorry, I'm trying to also clean myself off there. So, what do you guys think? You see the heart shape still? I think I'm going to cut some more off here. Bear with me, everyone. Try and get those middle pieces to turn outward. And there's nothing held on here. None of these pieces are glued except for that last piece in the middle that you saw me glue. Everything else is just tied on. And you saw how I made the heart out of the pipe cleaner. So you know how that's held together. So there we go. Here's the little shabby heart that I made. And let me see if I can show it to you better. That's not going to work. I want to show you against a dark background so that it will pop. Ah, 1 second. Okay, here we go. So here's my little shabby heart. I hope you guys try this out because it was really fun. If you just have some, you know, extra fabric just lying around, rip it up. And, you know, get some pipe cleaner or some wire, some, you know, pretty thick wire. Doesn't have to be heavy gauge, but you want it to be able to hold the shape pretty well. See how that looks now? And this is just a remnant of the piece that I was working with, and all I do is, in case anybody's wondering, I just cut it to the width of the strips that I want. I cut a couple of them like that, and it's not even straight. You can see that. And then I go in and pull it apart, and this is what you want. You want these frayed edges. You don't want it to be cut, you know, cut edges perfectly straight. So there we go, and now I have like at least 8 pieces I can use for my next one when I decide to do that. So here's the little heart shape. I hope you guys like my little tutorial for how I made the shabby heart for the banner. Thanks for watching, guys. Hey guys, bye. So I'm going to try and attempt to film the process for how I paper pieced the Gorgeous Girl stamp. Here she is. She's not got her dress yet, and sorry for the weird camera angled. I have my camera set up for something else and didn't want to move it. So I'm going to use the fabric that I've been using all along for my projects to create the dress for this gorgeous girl. And I actually have used my scan and cut to cut another I guess a duplicate image of her. It's pretty easy to do that with the scan and cut when you're actually cutting the stamped image. And so you see how she fits like this. And this is the only reason I did that is because after I color, obviously you get some bleed through on the paper. That's normal. I like to sometimes have, in case the back is going to show on my project, a clean back. See? So that's the reason why I have two. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to adhere the paper, or I'm sorry, adhere a piece of the white cardstock. I think this is 110-pound cardstock from Georgia Pacific. I'm not going to color on it. All I'm going to do is I've taken it, run it through my Xyron, so it's sticky on one side, and then I'm going to peel that up and adhere the fabric down in this strip, because I'm going to need actually enough to do 2 paper piecing experiments. I call it experiments because I don't know if I'm going to use it yet. So I'm just going to do that. Press it down really good. You can see the paper behind it, that strip of paper. And I might get out my brayer here if I can find it. Or not. I think I've got it over there. I'll be right back. Let me get my brayer here. You don't have to use a brayer, but I like to make sure that it is really stuck down well, and I know if I use my brayer, it's going to be stuck down really good. So that's all I need that for. So I'm going to cut this fabric strip off really close to the paper so as not to waste any of my fabric. And then what I've decided to do is to use my desert sand memento ink to make the image of the stamp and then fussy cut it out. I'm not going to actually fussy cut it on the video because it's going to take too long, and hopefully I can see it well enough. And I'm only going to ink, let's hope that this works, because I'm only going to ink the dress area. I'm not going to I'm not going to ink up the whole stamp because I don't really need that. I think I want her bow though, so I can match it. So I'm doing her dress, making sure I get that really well, and hopefully this turns out, because I don't really want this ink to show up too well on the fabric. I just want this little piece. So this is a Martha Stewart stamping block. It's the large size, and I actually don't need her feet to be on the piece of paper. I'm just going to stamp out the part that I need, which is the dress and the little bow that I inked up. And these are the these are the Gorgeous Girl stamps that are larger. Obviously they had a smaller size that first came out originally, and then they came out with these, I don't know what they're calling them, multimedia, whatever, not multimedia, mixed media stamps. I just want to get a good impression. Hopefully I'm doing that well enough on this fabric to get the bow and to get the dress. Did I do it well enough? I think so. So you guys, you can see that, oh, this way. You can see that the dress has been stamped out, and so has the bow. And so perfect. So this is how I've gotten the fussy cut dress out of fabric, and I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. I'll come back and show you the end result. So there you go.